Quad-focused leg press. This exercise will be used to target the legs, but the form we'll be using will emphasize mostly the quads. Step 1. Setup. This tutorial focuses on the plate-loaded 45-degree leg press. If you don't have access to this machine and only have the horizontal leg press available, I'd suggest picking an exercise alternative. First, we need to set up the machine properly, starting with the backrest. You want to move this back often to the lowest setting or just 1 to 2 notches up from the bottom. Too high and you will limit the range of motion. Next, set up the footplate starting position. You want to adjust it so that you only need to extend your legs slightly to be able to release the weights. Lastly, if your leg press has safety pins, adjust them so that they will be able to catch the weight at the bottom position if you are unable to lift it. Once you have that set up, it's time to set your feet. This will vary depending on your anatomy and mobility, but generally, you want a foot stance that is about shoulder width apart or just wider than that, with your toes pointed out about 15 degrees. You also want to place your feet relatively lower on the foot plate to better activate your quads, but how low you go depends on your ankle mobility. Do a few reps with some light weight to see how it feels, and adjust your setup as needed. You should be able to reach the bottom position without your heels raising up. Step 2. Execution. Unlock the safety pins, extend your legs to release the weights. Brace your core as if someone were about to punch your stomach, which should flatten your lower back against the pad. And then, while keeping your abs engaged, take a deep breath in through your nose. From here, lower the weight by bending your legs and letting your knees bend slightly outwards over the same direction as your toes. Go as deep as possible without your heels coming up off the pad and without your butt coming off the seat. Once you've reached the bottom position, keep your core braced and exhale as you push the weight back up until your legs are almost fully straight, and then descend into your next rep. Step 3. Common mistakes. Avoid letting your butt come up off the seat and lower back round at the bottom position. Instead, keep your core engaged, lower back flat against the pad, and butt in the seat. If needed, shorten the range of motion by not going as low to prevent this from happening. If possible, you can also try lowering the backrest even more and see if that helps. Avoid letting your heels lift off the pad as you come down. Although we want your feet to be as low as possible on the pad in order to hit the quads more, if you don't have the necessary ankle mobility, then you'll have to place your feet higher up on the pad. Try wearing lifting shoes, and/or just not go as low. Avoid using a short range of motion by stopping halfway. Instead, lighten the weight and try to get as deep as you can while controlling the weight and maintaining the proper form we talked about. Avoid letting your knees cave in as you press. Instead, keep them in the same direction as your toes. Avoid fully locking out your knees at the top position. Instead, keep your knees slightly bent before going into the next rep.